Hello, my name is Frances Fox, and I'm a trained government remote viewer. I was trained by the government. And I am also a specialist in interspecies communication. I could basically talk to anything because there is even a scientific movement at this point called panpsychism that says that everything has consciousness, and that is true. Therefore, everything has thoughts and intentions. And somebody like me can speak to anything and anybody, including a wall, your pet, your left toe, your left big toe that has a bunion. So, what am I doing here today? I'm here to do your horoscopes for the week of the 21st to the 27th of July, 2025. And it is through my remote viewing skills that I give you this information. I am not a trained astrologer. As I say, if you held a gun to my head and say, do my astrological chart, I would say, go ahead and pull the trigger because I don't know how to do that. But I also am not a doctor, and I do an awful lot of medical uh, diagnosis with my remote. I have several doctors who call me when their families become ill or if they have a patient where something is very unusual and they've not been able to unravel it with all the regular tests. So it is with those skills that I offer you this information. So let's go ahead and start with the usual, the beginning of the signs, which is Aries. Now, Aries is a male sign. All signs have a gender. It's a male sign. And it is a fire sign, which means that its big issue in terms of the elements is fire, which means frustration and anger and rage and everybody's dumb, get them out of my way, that type of. So, for this week, Aries, what do you need to know? Um, the energy center that you have called the solar plexus is called the garbage can of emotions, is apparently too full in your case. You are struggling with a volume of emotions on certain subjects, and I'm not getting what subjects, but it's not allowing you to see anything clearly. So I'm going to suggest a mantra which you repeat in silence and you expel the breath through your mouth. And you will notice after repeating it 5 times, you will be able to see how you calm down. They're really miraculous. That's why they've been around forever, for centuries. So the mantra is, even though I hate and there's nothing I can do, I love and accept myself. Now, if you do not accept the fact that you have the ability to hate, and the part of you that has emotions is 2 years old, and 2 years old, really? Kid 2 years old knows how to hate. But if you don't like that, and you're very elegant and delicate, then why don't you just say, even though I'm frustrated, I love and accept myself? You are going to feel a lot of relief within the repeating this mantra 5 times, but then you continue and you continue all week. I believe that this is going to be a pretty emotional week for practically all of the astrological signs because I just finished doing the astrology in Spanish. And it's funny because several of the people, because I get images, have a submachine gun in their hands and are ready to defend themselves however it is that they need to. So it's going to be a rough week. Let's go ahead on to the second sign, which is Taurus. Now, Taurus is a female sign and it is an earth sign. Taurus, you're struggling with, you made a decision. You left your house symbolically and you're on your way someplace. You made a decision, but you're right outside your front door. You didn't go, you left your house, but you didn't go where you were going to go. You didn't get together with the person, or you didn't call, or you didn't change. You're stuck there. And you're afraid. Now, this is a typical Taurus issue. Tauruses are afraid to make decisions. So Tauruses have a tendency towards Parkinson's because they're like, well, I think I'm going to do it. And you know what? I'm not going to do it. And that back and forth, back and forth, and back and forth basically breaks their throat energy center, the throat chakra. And then they get an invasion of a spirit. And so it's like 2 opinions, do it this or do that, because you have something else living attached to you because you were not willing to do what human beings do. and what we all accept, which is you make a decision and maybe you make a mistake. That's where flexibility comes in. You have to be flexible. You made a mistake? No problem. Go back and undo that or make a new decision. What you can't do is stay there because you're an easy target for all the spirits from the underworld and all the spirits that are on this dimension and all the spirit. You're just, and you're a target for Parkinson's and for being a very boring person to speak to because you keep recycling the same thing over and over and over and over again, and people are tired of it. You made a decision, do it. And then you're going to live with the consequences, but you can always change the decision. What is the problem? You want to be perfect. You don't want to make a mistake. Well, guess what? God didn't make anybody perfect. So, strongly suggest that you not stay in this cycle where you're at, because you're neither inside your house and you're not outside of it. You're kind of like in between dimensions. Get out of there, and everybody is tired of the same old story. You must be tired of it too. You already made the decision. It's not a question of you making a decision. You made it. Now go ahead and do it. And then if it doesn't work, you go, didn't work. New game plan. Okay? Your mantra, Taurus. Even though I'm afraid to make a mistake, I love and accept myself. You already made the decision. You already made the mistake in your head. Now go ahead and let it play out on the physical dimension and then change it. If you actually find out that you made a mistake, I don't think you did. This decision has been a long time in coming, years, maybe even up to 10 or longer than 10 years. You know what you're doing. You're just afraid because you think that perfection exists. It doesn't. Okay? Do it. You already did it. You left your house. Do it. Next sign is Gemini, which is a male sign in terms of gender. In terms of the elements, it's an air sign. Trump is a Gemini. You have so much going on. Your mind strings are all lifting up, which is not good because it really means there's a little bit of a desire to not be here, to die, which is something I found in many of the signs this week when I did the horoscopes in Spanish. So you have too much going on. You're getting some interference, which means spirits are trying to mess you up. So you're too much up in the air, too much air element. You need to go to a park. You need to get in a hammock outdoors. You need to lay on the ground. You need to grab trees, but not 15 minutes. You can't fix things or fill up on the gasoline of the element of earth in 15 minutes. You have to make it regular. Habits should be in contact with nature. You can use our mantrista music videos, and there's one in particular. It's called The Power of the Mantristas, and it is all, you see feet that are beating the ground and drums, earth, earth, earth. Eat a lot of vegetables or whatever foods that grow underneath the ground. You'll get more of the earth element. So what is your mantra? Even though I'm overwhelmed, I love and accept myself. Even though I'm overwhelmed, I love and accept myself. Apparently, there's a lot of options, a lot of decisions, a lot of stuff is on you to take care of. That certainly is the case with Trump. And I am Cancer Gemini, and I can see where this is totally accurate, having to do with that part of me also. So do the mantra and fall in love with nature again. Okay. Let's go ahead and continue with the next sign, which is Cancer, which is a female sign, and it's a water sign. Water is emotions. So Cancer, you are in water almost up to your waist. And you're, I would say, a little bit of a state of shock of a lot of things that you've realized. And you've been kind of like trying to figure out your life, and you figured a lot of things out, and you're not real happy with yourself. You already knew about the people that were abusive, that took advantage of you, that were god awful, that pretended they were friends and they weren't. You're looking at your stuff, what you did, what you are, and you're in a state of shock. I would do the mantra, even though I want to die, I love and accept myself. And that's going to help lubricate this process of you accepting what you kind of got real in contact with, which is basically probably your dark side. I can vouch for that because I'm Cancer Gemini. Cancer is my main sign, and I can tell you that that's what I'm dealing with. So I would do the mantra, even though I want to die, love and accept myself. For those of you fuddy-duddy people, what you're doing is you are processing out like a vacuum cleaner with this mantra the feeling of wanting to die. And you need to know that the bad galactics know how to send us this kind of energy of wanting to die, wanting to commit suicide, not wanting to live. They send it in order to weaken us as a population, planet Earth. And a lot of people have that issue that is not internally generated, but has to do with a virus that's thrown on us. We're in a weak moment, which I think we all are now, and then we feel it, and it's as if it's our own. It didn't start with us, but we can take care of it. So even though I want to die, I love and accept myself will make a huge difference while you are in your process of revelations and seeing your own dark side. And the Mayans said that it would be overwhelming and that a lot of people would not really be able to tolerate having to accept their own dark side. It's so much easier to accuse the other people out there. And then when it comes to yourself, what do? The mantra. So let's continue. The next sign is Leo, which is a male sign associated with the element of fire, which means easily frustrated. Leo, the volume of emotions that you have is overwhelming. I'm surprised you can see clearly. I'm not sure you should be driving a car, Leo, this week. Um, I would do the mantra, even though I am confused, even though I'm overwhelmed and want to die, I love and accept myself. You actually can't even think. That's how much, that's the volume of emotions that you have. And yet, I have to say to you, you look better than you have for a couple of years. So things are better. You don't feel better. And here we go again. Revelations, we're all dealing with our dark side. So, what did you remember about yourself? What did you realize? To say forgive yourself is doesn't make just if you want to do the mantra, even though I'm shocked, I love and accept myself because of what you realized, that would be good also. But this is passing. And when I look past this hysteria of emotions that you have, Leo, you're much cleaner and you're much more aligned with yourself and you're in a much better place than I have seen with you, I'm going to say several years. So handle the overwhelming emotions with the mantras and with contact with nature. This is not a time to stick yourself inside a movie house or to binge TV shows. This is a time to go and get together with people outside, natural settings, to where you can get the elements. Okay? Let's go ahead and continue with the next sign, which is Virgo, which is an earth sign in terms of element, and it is a female sign. Virgo, you're just like, you're so overwhelmed, you can't see anything. You're just totally overwhelmed with emotions. And it's not like overwhelmed with all these bad things that happened. It's emotions, emotional reactions. So I would I think the virus, the wanting to die virus, landed on you. Do the mantra, even though I want to die, I love and accept myself because I don't see that things are that much worse than they were 2 weeks ago, a month ago. On the contrary, I would say they're better. It's your emotional state that's an issue. And then again, we go with the Mayans. They said that people would be going crazy at this time, and it would have to do with what they realized. Not anything new that happened, but what they realized. And usually about ourselves or our relationship with other people or what other people did to us. So do that mantra, Virgo. September, things are going to be substantially better. Okay? Hang on, but don't just hang on. A lot of contact with nature and that mantra. Okay? The next sign is Libra, which is an air sign, and it's a male sign. And it's the same image I got when I did the horoscopes in Spanish, which is an image as if you lived in the Middle Ages and the bad guys captured you and they put you in a dungeon and they're torturing you. They're hanging you from the ceiling by your wrists. They cut your legs are tied together. They cut off your feet. Horrifying. What does that mean? That in my world, and I know a lot, it will probably mean for a lot of you that there's incredible amount of black magic being done to you. But I'm talking an incredible amount of black magic. A determination that you not be functional, Libra. It looks like a scene from a movie about the Middle Ages and the dungeon and the torture chambers. That is what they're doing to you in the other dimensions. I strongly suggest that if it's within your belief system, that you go ahead and contact somebody to help you to get that removed. That does not go away on its own. Eventually, the volume should go down of what you're feeling, the volume of negativity you're feeling. But if this is black magic, and it certainly appears that it is, this is not going to go away. This needs to be taken care of. And who do we know nationally? That's by the way, Trump is a Gemini, and Libra, the only person that would be of any interest would be Kamala Harris. That basically is part of the past political scene, and the vice president of Venezuela, the one that was elected vice president, but that has not been able to take over her position of power due to the dictator not having left yet. So Libra, you need to do something. And the one thing you can do without having to reach out to a professional would be to make sure that you have enough of the earth element, trees, parks, mountains, very little electronics, and you could have some water, but what you really need is the earth element. Okay? Continuing on. Let me give you a mantra. Please, God, help me with my intention to create a miraculous protection of my free will. Because basically, Libra, they're trying to take away your free will. In other words, they're trying to control you. Let's go ahead into Scorpio, which is a sign that's all about karma. And Scorpio, I see you next to a suitcase, which is how I've seen you for several years. You're not happy where you're living, what you're doing. And you go to the suitcase, you take out a submachine gun. And you're holding it. And people are almost afraid to talk to you because you are ready not to debate, not to discuss, not to come to some kind of an agreement. You're ready to kill them. So I'm going to give you a mantra. Even though I hate everybody and everything, I love and accept myself. Scorpio, don't tell me you don't hate. Come on. You're a water sign, which means emotions, and you're very strong. And there's nothing the matter with feeling that. The problem is if you don't take care of it, you could end up doing it. Not that I think that's going to happen here. So just reduce that emotional reaction. It is an emotional reaction. It's not a happening. It's not a fact. Okay? So continuing on, we have Sagittarius. It's interesting because I did not remember that the dictator of Venezuela is Sagittarius. Yet the images that I got, which is what I'm getting now, the same images totally represents what he is probably going through right now. Sagittarius, I see you inside the garage of a home, backed up against the wall, and you've got a submachine gun. You've got it, and you're putting your children behind you, and they're saying, what's going on? And you're saying, they want my money. So if you know somebody who's Sagittarius, Check and see what's going on in their lives if it is appropriate. But it certainly would appear to be accurate, having to do with the dictator of Venezuela, where the issue is what happens to him once he lets go of the reins of power of Venezuela. From what we have been able to see, he's more than willing to leave. Actually, he wants to leave. His inner crowd does not want him to leave because they don't know how they're going to earn their money. He does. So maybe that explains the images. But this is for Sagittarius, not for him. Coincidentally, once I started months ago to tie my information on the different signs to people that we know and whose lives we kind of know a little bit about, it turns out that it absolutely appears to be pretty accurate. Okay? So continuing on, the next sign is Capricorn, which is a female sign, and it's an earth sign. Capricorn also has a submachine gun, holding it here and then shooting up into the air so that everybody knows that Capricorn is going to defend himself, herself, their family, that they have no patience. They don't want to hear a storyline. Everybody should go and do whatever it is that they need to do and just leave the Capricorn alone. Do not try to negotiate something. Do not try to talk Capricorn into anything. Just stay away. Unless you're coming with good news of something that the Capricorn actually wants to hear about, I strongly suggest you just stay away. Wait for another week, another month, because Capricorn basically has lost all patience and is willing to fight back rather viciously. Capricorn has a lot of patience. So if they've made this kind of a decision, they must have a reason. So we go on to Aquarius, which is an air sign, thoughts, and a male sign. The most advanced of all the air signs is Aquarius. They don't like to make decisions. So same images. Aquarius has a stack of Frisbees. They're inside their home, their apartment. They take a Frisbee, which is Nile green, which is the color of heart and healing, and they throw it, and it breaks a window. And somebody says, you can't use the Frisbees inside. Aquarius couldn't care less. Picks up another Frisbee, throws it, breaks another window. And what are you doing? In other words, Aquarius is very frustrated, needs to move some of this energy of out, and it's become an energy of destruction, but almost like a self-destruction, because that place that the Aquarius is at is their own place. But they don't care. They're too frustrated. But they don't have a plan, which is very typical for Aquarius. So I'm going to give Aquarius a mantra. This is a Fox purification mantra. It's a vacuum cleaner. Even though I don't know what to do, I love and accept myself. Even though I don't know what to do, I love and accept myself. What's the trick? The trick is that there's a volume of astral particles, which in Hinduism is considered a force. And Aquarius has been sitting and accumulating and accumulating and accumulating, and they completely lost it, but they haven't made any decisions. So basically, they're going into self-destruct mode. So Aquarius, your mantra, even though I don't know what to do, I love and accept myself. Even though I don't know what to do, I love and accept myself. And it just reminds me when I went to therapy years ago with psychologists. And I remember I was in the psychologist's office pacing. The psychologist said, what's the matter? I said, I don't know. I'm confused. I don't know. And the psychologist said, why don't you go ahead and push that confusion away? What is it you don't want to look at? What do you want to see? Psychologist was right. Aquarius, what decision do you know you need to be making that you really don't want to look at it? You don't want to see it. So it's easier for you to go into self-destruct mode. Maybe you might want to rethink that. Okay? And the mantra that's going to help you is, even though I don't know what to do. And then in your own way, ask your God to guide you, to open a door, to send you a message, to somehow get some information that helps you get over this particular stage that you're in, which is basically stagnated, but filling up with a volume of fire, which is insomnia, frustration, anger, hatred, emotional violence, physical violence, murder, and suicide. So where are you at on that range? You're in the physical, you have reached the physical violence level of accumulated anger. You can call it frustration, but you're already into the part that's physical violence. You're throwing frisbees at your own windows. Next, last, Pisces is a female sign and it's a water sign. Water is emotions. Pisces, I see you with a broom and you are going to the corners of wherever it is that you live and you're sweeping out any dust that could be left there. The baseboards, you're running your finger around it to make sure there's no dust there. Nobody's there, just you. And you're saying to yourself, when I leave, I am never coming back. So you're going to be leaving something, but you're taking care of things properly. You want to make sure it's clean, it's neat. You're not asking anybody for any help. You're simply doing it. And I would do a mantra that you're not ready for now, but I think you should start doing it, even though I don't know what to do next. I love and accept myself. Even though I don't know what to do next, I love and accept myself. Okay? Because you obviously are closing a cycle and you don't want to have anything to do with the old cycle. You don't have anybody around you. You're not sending a text message to anybody. You're not talking on the phone. You're not sending an email. You're not listening to advice. You're just simply doing what you need to do, which is basically get out of there, like getting out of Dodge. Okay. Those are all the astrological signs in the week. My assessment, this is going to be one hell of a messy week on planet Earth. Remember that all our politicians have emotions. If you know what the sign is, the astrological sign of the politicians that you follow or the people that you follow, musicians, whoever it is, your kids, your boss, you will know what's going on. Lots of people got hit with the virus of wanting to die, which was sent from off planet. Emotions are astral particles, and in Hinduism, they know that astral particles are a force. When they say, may the force be with you, they're talking about those astral particles. It's what gives you strength. If you are very frustrated and you hold a glass in your hand and it breaks in your hand, that's an example of how destructive astral force can be when it is not released. You're hanging on to the glass, your rage is hitting it, and you break it in your hand. It's like, how did that happen? Do you know how many other things you break that are in your hands in terms of you're running a business, you have a child that you're trying to raise, you're breaking things in the relationships, in the company, with your astral force that you have not used to vitalize your intentions, which is why most of the time I will give you a mantra so you can redirect those emotions into vitalizing your intentions. This is going to be a hell of a week on planet Earth. So you can also do these mantras surrogate. Let's say that you see somebody and you don't really know their sign, but you see that they're struggling or that they're just like, and you know there's something going on. The mantra that I would try is just say, God, this is for them. Even though I want to die, love and accept myself, because that's what's hitting people hardest. They're not sure they can continue with this level of emotional pain. So that would be the one. And if they just look depressed and you don't know, they don't want to die. People don't talk about that. But I can tell you that on my social media, the posts that are getting the most likes and the most forward all have to do with emotions having to do with not wanting to live and wanting to die. And normally within the last several years, there's more people that need those kind of posts, but that is the top theme in terms of my social media, and I do a lot of social media. So we know people don't show it. We need to be talking about these things because emotions are not physical. They can break physical things, and you can process it so easily with mantras. But anyway, let me not turn this into a lecture. I hope this helps. And you should identify, you should get a little list. My daughter is this sign, my son is this sign, my boss is this sign, my coworker, he's this sign, my mother is this sign. And then compare and then check out the person and see if there's something you can help them with the mantra. The mind creates reality. Mantras liberate the mind from negativity. They're very powerful. Okay, I'm Frances Fox. Thank you for joining me. Bye.